Well, and then welcome back to our second stream this year, 2021. Pepper's Echo, you're watching the NA discussion. And yes, on this side here, I have my main man, overhang, fender bender, great intender, street smart, doctorated, initiated, illiterated, consulting, bolting, main man. Welcome. Great to have you back again, Elias.
Thank you so much.
Without you.
Yeah, 2021. Let's do this, man.
Indeed, sir. So yes, 2021 brings a lot of thought and, should I say, surprises. I don't know what else I can say we're looking at. But there's a lot coming up.
2020 did not kill us, so
we're still here. So yeah, Pepper's Echo, the NA discussion. It's basically a view of the man in the street. We are not claiming to be researchers, specialists, subject matter experts, or anything to that effect. And what we discuss it as everyday man in the street. And we ask the questions. And many of the questions may be answered easily, may be answered more difficult. But we also urge you to take a look at like Ronaldo Gous, Joe Emilio, Chris Wyatt, Germ from Germ Warfare, whom are leaving out, Ramon Cabernac from Morning Shot and that as well, which sometimes have a more substantial answer, as we tend to generate many of the questions. And we look at it as a viewpoint from the normal man in the street who doesn't go into all of these things and go, well, what the hang is happening over here? So please, if you do have any subjects that you would like to have discussed on the show, it doesn't need to be political. It can be anything of interest. It doesn't have to be South African. It can be anywhere in the world. Please drop us a mail at pprsecho@gmail.com. If you'd like to come on the show and you feel you've got a pretty interesting point of view, it would be really, really super if you would also drop us a line, and we would see what we can do about that as well. We are more than willing to see anybody else's point of view as well. We're not unbendable. We're pretty flexible, and I think we're pretty nice guys too.
Yeah, we like to argue with everybody.
So yeah, you're watching the NA discussion. And before we carry on, please like and subscribe. Don't forget to share this video as well. It's the only way that we do get it out there. So please do subscribe. Do like, ring the bell so that you can be notified of our future episodes as we go ahead. Our main topic this evening that we're looking at is, I know everyone's gone in this whoa, what the is WhatsApp doing? And so, yeah, we'll get onto that as well. But what is the ANC government doing with the vaccine? That's they've missed 2 payments, and I actually wanted to do a whole thing on that, but I'm just mentioning that they missed 2 payments, and then they very proudly announced that they'll be getting 1 million, or I don't know how many million, but it's coming in June, July, and that's if they actually make the next payment. So that's why South Africa's only getting in the second or third quarter or something to that effect, because our government was too shaggy to reply. I know there's some kind of dark rumor running around. I did drop it up with Ronaldo yesterday to say, you know what, someone said along the line that the DA was trying to raise a vaccine for the Western Cape by themselves and using some of their own money. And he said, you know what, there's like a wild rumor. The DA will try and make sure that they get the vaccine and try and obtain as much as what they can for the Western Cape. You know what, don't know if it is that true, that they are single-handedly now going to lasso a lot of vaccine and putting it into the Western Cape. You know, you can just see the rest of the country moving down to the Western Cape.
Look, it wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, it is a rumor. I have heard this rumor too, but it definitely wouldn't surprise me. I mean, if you take a look at how many South Africans are being resilient, and making their own plans to make things work where the government is failing right now. I know COVID is a very, very contentious subject, and the DA is contentious in themselves. So it wouldn't surprise me. It definitely wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, indeed. So
Hmm.
I, you know, these days nothing surprises us much at the moment.
True. Also, yeah.
It's it is a bit of a what the. But yeah, let's take a look, see, and say what the WhatsApp, because there's a lot of people now. WhatsApp is the biggest currently, I think, in the world. Is the biggest instant messaging program application that is being used. I think it started on Apple. I stand corrected or whatever that it started on Apple, but and all of a sudden people are going, no, let's not use WhatsApp anymore. And there's been huge influxes to places like Telegram, Signal are the two that we're talking about tonight as well. Question that I'm going to place on that, right? So don't use WhatsApp. We look at what WhatsApp's going to do because of their privacy policy. They're going to invade our privacy. So that's WhatsApp. So you use Gmail, you use Google, you use Google Drive, you use Google Maps, you use Google to Google with. You use so much on the internet.
That's not even to mention people on their cell phones complaining about this. I really haven't seen any announcements about this. I have noticed that WhatsApp has put something up there, but I've never actually read it. But getting into work and everything, January is a little bit busy and whatnot. And I just saw everybody started blowing this up on Facebook. But WhatsApp's going to steal all of your information. WhatsApp's going to know you're cheating on your wife. WhatsApp's going to steal your money from your bank account. When the social justice warriors start and the 5G thunnies come out with their conspiracy theories on Facebook, and I don't think people realize that, hello, you are using Facebook on your cell phone. You are using Instagram on your cell phone. These are basically the same companies too. Even though I might not agree with what we're going to discuss and what WhatsApp is doing, I think people have a very big misunderstanding about what information is actually being shared, and what terms and T's and C's they have already agreed to with regard to their other apps when it comes to third-party data and those kinds of things. So I think it's a good thing we jump into this so people can actually see, okay, well, it's not as bad as you might think, or maybe it is. Maybe it is. Let's ask the question.
Yeah, the question is, what are you really losing that you haven't lost already?
Yeah.
And what are you going to lose that is worth somebody else gaining?
That's the thing. It's with the era of social media and everything, it has become very apparent that people have become very self-entitled, because everybody has an opinion on Facebook now. Previously, before social media, if you had an opinion and it's a crappy opinion, nobody gave a crap, People basically only listen to you when what you're saying makes sense. But from the time that everybody has had their own opinion and their own voice to actually put that on social media, people seem to have a very inflated view of themselves and a very inflated view of who I am. And it's going to sound very blunt of me to say this, but I'm sorry, people do not give a shit about you and what you think and what you share and what you send to your friends on WhatsApp. The big overlords of the tech industry seriously, Susan, they are not out to see what conspiracy theories you share with your book club over WhatsApp, or they are not going to come for the last 500 rand in your bank account via WhatsApp. So I think people have a very overinflated view and a self-entitlement of, my information, but it's not really what people think it is.
Mm-hmm. No, agreed. That's the whole thing. You know what? My point is, your information's out there anyway. The minute you actually joined the internet, the minute you picked up a cell phone, any other contract that you actually sell is is giving away information. But let's take a look. Financial Times says Facebook is scrambling to deal with, excuse me, Facebook is scrambling to deal with sudden competitive threat to its messaging platform WhatsApp after a change to its terms of service sparked privacy concerns and prompted users to turn to rivals such as Signal and Telegram in droves. Give you a general matchup, Signal was downloaded 8.8 million times worldwide in the week after WhatsApp changed its first announcement on 4th of January, versus 246,000 times the week before, according to data from Sensor Tower. Now, Telegram, a popular messaging app among cryptocurrency traders, also benefited from WhatsApp concerns. It reached 11.9 million downloads the week after January 4th from 6.5 million the week before that, at the Sensor Tower said. Some users interpreted WhatsApp's new policies as suggesting that sensitive user data will be shared with its parent company for the first time, even including the content of messages, prompting outrage on social media, a forceful correction from the company. WhatsApp said in a statement posted late Monday, the policy update, which comes into force on the 8th of February, does not affect the privacy of your messages with your friends or family in any way. And let me just add that WhatsApp is encrypted end to end. And if you actually migrate to Telegram, Telegram is not encrypted end to end unless you send a secret message. Just one up on that quickly. But anyway, adding that it wanted to address rumors going around. While neither app will be allowed to access any messages, WhatsApp's privacy policies have since 2016 allowed it to share certain other user data with its parent company, being namely Facebook. According to the latest update, Facebook and WhatsApp will now also be able to share certain payments and transactions data in order to boost advertising as the company pushes further into e-commerce with development of digital storefronts features such as Facebook Shops. The changes also outline how merchants communicate with customers via WhatsApp to choose stores that those chats in Facebook hosted servers. Oh, sorry, let me start this over. The changes also outline how merchants communicating with customers via WhatsApp can choose to store those chats in Facebook hosted servers and use the data to inform their advertising on Facebook. Before we carry on from the New York Times, it's purely, look, it is invasion of privacy because they're actually trying to build algorithms on what to pump to you to buy. Yeah. What are you buying? Contact number. I don't know if they're going to do contact numbers and things like that, but it is quite a bit of personal details that are going out there. Let's just take a look at those policies quickly. I did show you a little bit earlier on that everyone is going bananas about at the moment. And once again, I agree with you that there's just no way that this is actually giving anyone anything more than what they've had already before. So WhatsApp now has updating its terms and policy. I think this is the 4th of January, if I'm not mistaken. Key updates, including more information about WhatsApp services and how we process your data, how business can use Facebook hosted services to store and manage WhatsApp's chats, how we partner with Facebook to offer integration across Facebook company products. So this is the update they're giving you. And it says, by tapping agree, you accept the new terms and privacy policy, which take effect on February the 8th, 2021. After this date, you'll need to accept these updates to continue using WhatsApp. You can also visit the health center. Okay, so they don't want you, if you don't accept this, they won't let you use it. Then we have, prior to January 4, we have a part where WhatsApp privacy policy starts with respect for your privacy is coded into our DNA since we started WhatsApp. We've aspired to build our services with a set of strong privacy principles in mind. That is December 19. If you take a look at the January 4th, that part has been left out of their privacy policy totally. Wow. Then we take a look at a part that also says, and this is where you get your your advertising going to you. No third-party banner ads. We still do not allow third-party banner ads on WhatsApp. That was previous. And now on the January the 4th, we still do not allow third-party banner ads on our service. We have no intention to introduce them, but if we ever do, we will update this privacy policy. Basically means when we do decide to use them, we will tell you that.
Yeah, we'll do whatever. We will do whatever we want whenever we want.
Yeah,
kind of thing. And the issue I have with that, Andre, look, I don't think it's going to be such a big change. Once again, messages are end-to-end encrypted, which means that WhatsApp cannot access them, but they can access your third-party data. That's okay. They say they don't have any, third-party ads that they're going to throw at you, but their sister company or the sister company Facebook does. So how do those match up? But the issue I do have that I take up with this is that they're not giving you a choice map. Usually with an application, they say this application is going to use this, and you can allow or decline. And when you decline, that's fine. You might not be able to use certain functionalities of an application, but WhatsApp's not giving you a choice at all, and I take issue with that.
I think a lot of the people are also fed up with the fact that, that they are, as you say, A, not giving you a choice, but B, they are dealing your information, like your algorithm, what you buy, where you buy. They're not looking at your messages. I think a lot of people have freaked out and gone, oh, well, they're going to read our message or publish our message or whatever, or we are going to. It stays encrypted. But your habit, your general information, email addresses, telephone numbers, etc., can then be shared with Facebook, and Facebook being probably the most dominant in the world at the moment, of almost just pouring out information everywhere. And it is becoming pretty loose with the fact that it has been hacked for certain information. You take a look, daily accounts are being hacked. Daily people's personal information is being pulled by hackers and, should I say, all bad people, for lack of a better word. But and then you've got this big dominant giant. Google does the same thing, by the way. You know what? I looked at Google the other day. Well, not the other day, but a good couple of months back, and I thought, oh, check at this. It tells me I've been to school today and back today. It tells me I went to school yesterday, back yesterday, and the day before that, it shows me I went to school and I stopped off at a supermarket, and then I came back. And the day before, I can see I went out that evening and back. Told me exactly where I've been. So I said, okay, well, you know what? I've been in this country. Well, it was about 1.5 years at that stage when I'd been in the country. So I said, well, I wonder if it can tell me where I was instead of 18 months, where I was like 19 months, or just because I could see that, okay, this and this date, you flew from South Africa to Cambodia. So I went, okay, well, what about the day before that? And it told me exactly I was in this street, in that town, and at 11 o'clock that morning, I left that address. I went to Checkers. I was at Checkers that long, and then I left Checkers. I went to a butchery. It didn't give me the butchery name. It just said address, but Checkers, it actually said Checkers. I went to that address over there, and that time to that time, and then I left and I returned to this address in that city, in that town where I'd stayed that night. And I mean, this is what Google can do. And it wasn't like, oh, well, it's the week's data or the month's data or even the year's data. This was like 18 months ago's data. And I could actually look before and before and before that. But I was amazed at the fact that it could give me the precise address, the precise time, and when I left that address to where I'd gone. My second question is, we're all going, wow, because somebody said, privacy problem with WhatsApp. How many people actually read any agreement or small print of electronic? Just a thought, just a small thought.
Yeah.
When it says, do you agree to this? Just get it done with, you know?
Yeah.
And then what?
What are you going to do? What are you going to do? If you read, and specifically with this privacy policy update too, read it, don't read it. If you accept to it, great. You can keep on using it. But if you don't, you can't. So Yeah, I think how to know somebody is an alien is like, I'm sorry, I can't be somewhere or do something right now because I need to take an hour and a half out of my day to read a massive privacy policy that I can't understand a word of. Um, I don't think anybody does that, man.
No, no. No one even goes through, skims it, or says, is there a summary? And take a look. I think the New York Times, encrypted messaging services have become the world's hottest apps over the last week, driven by growing anxiety over the power of the biggest tech companies and privacy concerns. Neeraj Agrawal, a spokesperson for cryptocurrency think tank, has typically used the encrypted messaging app Signal to chat with privacy-minded colleagues and peers. On Telegram, it says another encrypted messaging app, which does stand corrected. But Telegram isn't encrypted start to end. Gavin McInnes, founder of far-right Proud Boys group, had just announced his return. And on Twitter, Elon Musk, the billionaire entrepreneur who's now the richest man in the world, also weighed in last week with two-word endorsements on Twitter that said, use Signal.
That's just so Elon Musk.
So over the past 2 weeks, tens of millions, I'm not going to go over it, have downloaded Signal and Telegram, making the two hottest apps in the world. Signal allows messages to be sent with end-to-end encryption, meaning no one but the sender and receiver can read its contents. Telegram offers some encrypted messaging options, but is largely popular for its group-based chat rooms where people can discuss a variety of subjects. So basically, with Telegram, it's not end-to-end encryption unless you send a secret message. It's server to server. But privacy worries rose over WhatsApp, which last week reminded users in a pop-up notification it shares some of their data with its parent company. The notification set off a wave of anxiety fueled by viral chains and the falsely claimed that Facebook could read all WhatsApp messages. I think this was made everybody have a small little hernia. The result was a mass migration that, if it lasts, could weaken the power of Facebook and a big tech company. I think a lot of people already don't like Facebook, and the fact of the matter that the information is going to be shared with Facebook. On Tuesday, Telegram said it added, as I said, 25 million people, 500 million to pushing it to over 500 million. Signal added to nearly 1.3. I know Signal actually went down in India where everyone was using Signal. And Signal has only got 50 employees. And as we were speaking a little bit earlier, it is actually belongs to Brian Acton, who was the founder of WhatsApp. And he sold WhatsApp to Facebook in 2017, was it? For 44 billion.
Yeah.
And then he started Signal in 2017 for 50 million of his own that he's leaving. There's only 50 people employed at Signal. So fears over WhatsApp's privacy policies have driven Telegram and Signal's popularity. While there was no meaningful change to how WhatsApp handles users' data, people immediately interpreted the app's privacy notification last week to mean it was infiltrating all kinds of personal information, like personal chat logs, voice calls, and sharing data with business. So I think the biggest fear was that they were, that there'd be actual access to the personal messages and things like that. But I'm be honest with you, you know what? If people wanted to, I don't think they can. I don't think they care. Let's put it that way.
Yeah,
it would be.
I think a big distinction to draw here, Andre, is it's not necessarily that WhatsApp is going to tell your wife that you've got a sticky on the side or something. I don't think people should worry about that.
Your wife suddenly receives a Facebook with your message to your scallumpy.
Yeah. What I do think it is, though, is that people should be worried that WhatsApp might be becoming that friend from high school who starts giving your information to Platinum Life to phone you every
I love the way you put that. Yeah.
I think that's an important distinction to make. So no, they're not going to tell your wife you have a scallumpy or a sticky, but they are going to be that old friend from high school that gave your details to Platinum Life and they don't stop phoning you, kind of thing. but that's basically the most basic way I think I can put that without going into the technical details too much, because I think you need a PhD in communications as well as intelligence, as well as information technology, to actually understand what these companies are doing.
The thing is, which ones don't do it? I know there's been mass hysteria over WhatsApp. I don't think it's a bad thing because you know what, Facebook is a dominant uh, company, and giving any more information to it. And I think the reason that WhatsApp bought out Facebook bought out Instagram and WhatsApp is to dominate information and to almost track your life.
Yeah.
Same as what Google does. So you know what, if you want to stop using Chrome, which everybody uses now, get into Opera or Firefox and start using DuckDuckGo. And you know what, even that is not going to, because somewhere along the line you've got Windows. So then there's Microsoft as well, which dominates.
Yeah.
Facebook dominates. It is there. I don't think it's a bad thing that WhatsApp suddenly gets a little bit of competition. But especially since it's so dominant and it belongs to, so, all general information actually hangs from, how should I say, hangs from Facebook. All your general information goes to Facebook. So they almost have a pattern on your life, as does Google. And as I said, stop using the internet, don't use a cell phone. And you probably got some people that still, I mean, remember the old days where I know one church sold their membership list to an insurance company or something.
Yeah.
To find.
Yeah.
It's the same kind of thing. It's just you don't have a written membership list, and it's not like 500-600 members. It's now millions of billions of people's information that is being plowed through to actually. So
yeah, I mean, it's like, I can't remember who said this, but it goes along the lines of, when using technology in the modern day and age, if you are not paying for the service or product, then you are the service or product. And also, is that really such a bad thing? I mean, this is basically just marketing 101. I'm going to try and figure out what you as a consumer likes, and I'm going to try and market according to that. Now, I do get that it's stepping on some people's toes, and people don't want, everybody to know what they actually like. But is it really such a bad thing? That companies actually might want to market something to you. If you take a look at something like McDonald's back in the day when they started, the company started noticing, we actually hit a gap in the market here, and people started liking our product so much. The company noticed, and they started identifying their key target markets, and they started marketing to them. I did not see anybody getting really pissed off with a big McDonald's billboard, because they started marketing to their target market. This is basically the same thing, isn't it? Am I mistaken in saying that? I could be. Please, correct me if I'm wrong. But I'm trying to create a broader overview of what it is they are trying to do. And they're not really I'm convinced they're not going to jump into your personal information, actually see what messages you send, because they're not interested. You're insignificant to them. You're not even a drop in the ocean to them. To them, it's about actually matching, because people pay a lot of money to advertise on platforms like Facebook. So is it such a bad thing that they use your information? It would start seriously pissing me off if it's a platinum live kind of thing where people start phoning you and get your phone number. But when it comes to marketing to you on these ads, you're going to see these ads on YouTube anyway. You're going to see these ads on Facebook anyway. Is it such a bad thing that ad might be something that you have spoken about before? I don't know. Maybe it couldn't. I don't think it's the end of the world, and I do think people might be overreacting a little bit when it comes to the conspiracy theories with regards to this.
Yeah, no, conspiracy theories are high, but I also don't think it's the fact of the matter that they are tailoring marketing to you. I think it's the fact of the matter that a giant like a Facebook corporation, which is or has had information leaked or hacked and then suddenly a lot of personal information is now suddenly being able to be obtained by unsavory people.
Mm.
And you know what? You want your information at least kept to a certain degree of privacy. And privacy probably doesn't mean that you can, you know what, by all means, use my information to market correctly, but don't let it fall in the wrong hands. And as you see,
Yeah.
Facebook accounts are hacked daily. And if they pop that information on there, and if their accounts are hacked daily, how come are they too big to control their security? Don't they care that much? You know what? And yes, you know what can be hacked of mine? You know what? If my R4.24 or $2.50 in the bank account is safe, that's great, but I do not want it to be tampered with. No one's going to tamper with it. Although I know, you know, when people tamper with small bank accounts, take small amounts to make big amounts out of it, etc., etc., etc. However, no one's really going to tamper with it as such. You're insignificant. I think you mentioned it a little bit earlier on in the program as well. You're not that important. is the thing to say to people. You're not that important that people are going to try and hack your privacy. But
look, if you are a multi-millionaire with a lot of trade secrets, maybe on the board of directors of certain key companies or key organizations, yes, I would be much more worried about that. But I like the fact that you're also arguing it from a different point of view than I'm right now, where I'm saying, look, I don't necessarily think the intent of what they're doing is so bad, but is the execution going to be there? Do we trust them in their execution? Do we actually trust them in the management of this information, and the security of this information? I think that's a very important point to make as well, because the moment you said, I'm like, yeah, okay, the intent might be, the intent might not be malicious, but, are they maybe dropping the ball on the security when it comes to hacking accounts? Because that has been increasing dramatically, just by Facebook too. So, I do think there is a lot of conversation to be had, but I do think it's also important that you recognize where you are in the social status, where you are in your financial status. Do you have a lot that you actually need to not hide, but that you do need to, protect your information, like stuff like trade secrets? That is something very much to think about, but I don't necessarily think attacking, what everybody on Facebook is doing right now. I don't think that's the right approach to take and the right question to ask.
Also, another question is, and the statement that we made, and as I've just made as well, is you are not that important. But am I that insignificant that my privacy and security is not that important? Do I not have the same right as, and you don't even have to go to billionaire, you can just go to business owner that might have a patent or something to that effect.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Intellectual property, etc., that he would maintain. But am I that insignificant that I don't get counted as, that my privacy doesn't matter as much as his privacy? Is that not a human right?
That's true.
But then the question remains: do the others? What do you use at the moment for messaging?
At this point in time, I've been mostly on Facebook Messenger. Look, I can tell you from the time I've left South Africa, I really haven't been using WhatsApp a lot at all. I've been using Telegram quite a lot for work, seeing as that in Asia, Telegram is the dominant messaging platform. Yes, so people would, the majority of people in Asia don't really use WhatsApp, except for India. India is the biggest one there. But I use Telegram, but that's only for work. When it comes to normally talking to friends, you know what? I prefer to sit down and have a beer with somebody and have a conversation. I'm one of those people who try and I'm not very good with text. I don't really particularly enjoy speaking to people via text. But it's a mixture between, Telegram, WhatsApp, and Messenger. But I'm not too bothered about it, man, because I do try and stay off of these platforms as much as I possibly can, because I still believe, and this is a conversation for another day, I do still believe that true communication between human beings happens when you can actually read when you can read body language. So
tell me about it. Misinterpretation is the one at the moment.
But I haven't been using WhatsApp a lot in Asia at all, to be honest.
I use WhatsApp to communicate back home to South Africa a lot because it is the most dominant, I should say, instant messenger in South Africa currently until now, I suppose. But I find that when I look at Telegram, I find Telegram to be replacing email. It's far more instant. The size files that you send and the speed at which you send, and not having to send and receive and to check email and the way it comes in and the pins you can put in. We'll take a quick look now. I've just got a few little comparisons now as well. I do believe that for me, Telegram isn't being used as much as instant messenger as what it is replacing email in communication, and send a document and sign it and scan it and send it back and it still keeps up all your documents, etc. And it has a desktop app which you can use, and it doesn't need to take your telephone number as well. You can have a username for Telegram as well. So the whole thing behind Telegram, so you don't need to have on WhatsApp, for me to send you a message, you need to have me in your contacts. Or to send me a message, you must have me in your contacts. I just need to find your username, or you give me your username. You don't have to give me a personal detail. On Telegram, and bam, it is sent. It's like I can give you any email address. I have my main email address, and then I have an email for all my shit list and things like that. And then I'll give you that one. So when I sign up to all these things and all these funny things, and when they send me a whole bunch of rubbish, I give them the bad one. But these days it's Telegram, and you're probably going to find, I was dealing with my internet company for the last 2 days, and it was on Telegram. I was wanting to buy a toner for my printer. It was dealing on Telegram. At school, we have an email address which I send one report on a Friday through at the moment. And otherwise, everything else is sent. Files, and I'm talking about huge files. I had a CD put in onto audio because we needed to use it on a stick for in the classes. And I handed it to the admin office. I said, please, can you get that onto the PC for me? And next thing, bam, this Telegram comes through with all the audio files of these 3 CDs together in the one. So I do believe that the Telegram is probably surpassing or replacing the email, because it is far quicker. Once again, putting a lot more pressure on us, and far quicker. And the groups that I see, I belong to this sort of daily sort of messaging group from a church, and I see they've all migrated onto Telegram as well. I think it's because of the WhatsApp scare. But Telegram, I think, very, very much replaces your email more than what it is. It is an instant messaging service, but I think it doesn't have all the functionality that WhatsApp has, but it has a higher sort of content, or you will see now as well the size of files. Where Signal, I think, does, because it is, I don't want to say unknown, but because it's so independent still, it doesn't have to share that information. It doesn't take much information from you either. Takes a telephone number and that's it, boom, and you're on. Contact detail and that's it. Where I think WhatsApp takes a lot more than that because of being owned by Facebook, etc. as well. I also detest the fact that WhatsApp sort of has the arrogance that Facebook has now at the moment, because I hate the crap that they put on. I keep my Facebook. I've tried to close one account so that I can actually join the groups that I want to join and actually have the friends that I want to have, so that I can just connect with my faraway friends, and that, especially being in another country.
Yeah.
It's good to know. And of course, as we all know, nobody forgets a birthday due to Facebook these days. But the thing is, I hate the being pestered by irrelevant ads, and that they have the arrogance to do that is quite annoying to me. And I would happily leave WhatsApp. But my next question is, how many people who have migrated to Telegram and who have migrated to Signal, or both, whichever you've chosen to do, and we'll take a look now, have actually left WhatsApp? Because I use Telegram and I use Signal, And I still have WhatsApp because there are some people on my contact list that use WhatsApp. So what is the difference then? If you keep it, you've either got to cut it, and then you're going to lose a lot of people, because it's like having an email address or telephone number for 20, 30 years or something like that. And all of a sudden you're cutting off everybody that maybe hasn't migrated, although there's quite a lot that are migrating. But I mean, it defeats the whole object, guys. If you migrate to Telegram and you migrate to Signal, and because you still have those few friends or few people or relatives or family or something like that that use WhatsApp, you still got it. You're defeating the whole object of your purpose. And tell me, how many people have cut clean ties with it? Like,
well, at the end of the day, Andre, yeah, I get what you're saying. That the first thing that comes to mind is, these people who, I finally got my grandmother to understand how to use WhatsApp, and now I need to show her how to use a different app. I don't think we're going to stop your grand because of something like that. However, we cannot underestimate the importance of a scare like this and the knee-jerk reaction from the public as well. I do think it might be a very, very good thing that Facebook and WhatsApp have been facing so much scrutiny and pushback on this, that they actually see, okay, we might not be as powerful as we thought we were. So it's a good thing for these companies to actually realize that, oh shit, we can actually use 10 million users, in a certain space of time, just based on a privacy policy. So there are arguments to be made on both sides, but yeah, I'm personally not going to uninstall WhatsApp. I'm personally still going to use it because I do still have family back home who only use WhatsApp. So it depends off of everybody. Your own personal decision. Are you going to use these things responsibly? All right, don't go and be a stupid and go sharing all of your bank account information, on a platform that you don't completely trust. Just think for yourself, right? There are things that can be annoying, but don't be a stupid.
Agreed. I mean, I've used Telegram sort of lightly in South Africa. I've used it a lot more, as you said. And I mean, then there's China that uses WeChat. I mean, that's where the Americans went bananas because of TikTok and WeChat and all that type of stuff as well. So where is there one that doesn't use it from? Taking a look, I just want to actually go through here, and let's take a look. If you're wanting to, web versions, WhatsApp's got a web version, WhatsApp web, although you need your phone to be able to scan to go onto it. Telegram has a web version, Signal doesn't. Oops, I was at the end. Let's go that way. User data. So what user data is shared or gets collected? WhatsApp collects the most data from you. That is a fact. Telegram collects contact info, phone number, and a user ID, which you can use instead of having your phone number. Signal collects no personal data, only a phone number. But here's a little bit of interest as well. Their personal policy, I actually want to go back to that because it's something that I forgot to mention as well. Just want to show you something here. The actual data sharing only affects those that are not in Europe. So Africa and those places, etc., etc. Because if you live outside the European region, WhatsApp LLC, WhatsApp, we or us provides our services to you under these terms of services and privacy. Okay. If you live in the European region, WhatsApp Ireland Limited provides a service to you under the terms and services, under this term services and privacy policy, because they cannot share that data under the terms of the European Union. So out of the European Union, if you're out of Europe, you can. So that change will affect, the policy will affect those that are not in Europe, which is, yeah.
Yeah, and I don't see Africa jumping at the opportunity to get new laws drafted to protect our privacy. So,
No, you know what? What's that? Africa countries combined, or whatever, etc., etc. So that's the other interesting fact, that you're more protected under the European Union than what you are protected. So you know what? As South African, you will be more exposed from this sharing information with Facebook from WhatsApp at the moment. That somebody's dug up and said, "Hey," and yeah, you know what? Fair enough. But yeah, WhatsApp status features, it's basically to tell you a status, so someone can actually, family and friends can go in and see what your status is and a status photo, etc., etc.
if you want to passive aggressively let your partner know that they have upset you, then you put it on your status.
There we go. So WhatsApp's got that. Telegram and Signal don't have that. Sharing features, WhatsApp, media, contacts, location, voice, and video calls, they all got them. Groups, WhatsApp limits you to 256 members in a group. Telegram, now this is why I say, once again, it does sort of push the boundaries. 200,000 members. If I was ever in a group of 200,000 members on an instant messaging, it's, mind you, instant and fast and final, but Signal gives you a more balanced of 1,000 members. So WhatsApp is a little bit low maybe in the members, but then Telegram, as I said, is taking up the email of file limits. WhatsApp, you can see a 16 to 100 meg file. Telegram, once again, 2 gig file, which makes it far, far more attractive.
Yeah.
Then Signal, also 100 meg file. End-to-end encryption. Watch this. WhatsApp has end-to-end encryption. Telegram does not have end-to-end encryption. Signal does have. So Telegram, you need to actually physically send the
A private chat, yeah.
Yeah. Something else that I found when we're looking at groups and that, Nana, is on Telegram, I do struggle to send a group message if I'm not forwarding, whereas without creating a group. So if I want to send it to 4 or 5 people, I've got to either forward a message, but I can't create a message and just do a broadcast. Now on WhatsApp, I'm able to do a broadcast message. I don't want to create a group. I just want to send this message to 5 people quickly. I can't do that on Telegram for some unknown reason. I don't know if it's me being stupid or what. Disappearing messages, they all have disappearing messages, self-destruct messages, etc., which means that I can send this message and it's going to delete on your side and my side, or it's going to disappear after a certain amount of time. Chat backups, WhatsApp has a third-party cloud backup. Nice thing, Telegram has an inbuilt cloud backup, and Signal only has local backup and can be enabled, but it is off by default. There is a bigger list, but I don't think we're going to cover it this evening. I think you can go and look it up yourself, but they are basically very, very similar to each other. I think the only thing that scares people is the affiliation of WhatsApp to Facebook, and Facebook actually taking advantage of having a little brother on the playing field. I myself, I'm using Telegram very, very much because of being in Asia, and because of, I think it's replaced email. It is too instant and too pressurized, but yes, you know what, everything from when you used to send letters and receive phone calls from a phone and get a message if you weren't there, to having everybody instantly being able to access you 24/7 is ridiculous, but it's there.
Yeah.
I mean, that in its own is invasion of privacy, but we've accepted it as life has gone on. As far as WhatsApp, I'd like to merge over to Signal, because I don't want to put all my eggs in one basket. I don't like the fact that Facebook owns everything and that you have, although I have not and probably won't delete WhatsApp for a long time because of the fact that I have family and friends and everyone who still all send messages on WhatsApp. But I would like to predominantly start using Signal for my messaging, basically Telegram for my emails and things to that effect, and not be dependent on it. As Google Chrome, I'm currently using Google Chrome, but all my information that, as you can see, I'll show you this side, I can share it with you now, is done via Opera.
Oh yeah, Opera Mini, yeah.
Which, okay, I'm not going to go and do all that funny stuff, etc., etc. But yeah, I do it via Opera. I'm trying to use different. Firefox is nice. I've got that installed as well. However, I use Opera, and when I actually go to search something, I try DuckDuckGo. Sadly, hands down, your best is still Google and Chrome. Yeah. Sometimes, you know what? If the wheel's working, if everyone's driving a BMW,
as long as it works,
you know what? A Tata's never going to match to a BMW, although it's going to be get you somewhere.
Yeah,
But
look,
it's going to be a BMW.
I don't think at this point in time, we're not going to see a technological revolution and something like that. But I do think that these things are necessary, to keep these companies at bay a little bit when it comes to the scare. But I think the biggest thing that I'd like people to take away from this is just be responsible in the way you share your information. Don't be a dumbass with it, basically.
Well, you know what? Most cell phones take dual SIM cards. I have 2 SIM cards in my cell phone. And when something says contact number, and I really don't feel like giving you my contact number or sign up with a contact number, I give them my secondary SIM, which I basically use for data. If I give somebody a contact number to contact me, and I'll give them my main phone number. But the SIM that I really don't care about, I can smash it a minute's thought, which I usually use just to keep my data going. I will sign up with all of that, etc., etc., etc. There, you know what? If a call comes in on that, I don't care for it because it's not what I give out for people to call me on. My institutions and people that I need to have my number, I give my rightful number. Most people have a dual SIM. So do yourself a favor if you're really, really worried or concerned. Get a dual SIM, get a second SIM which you use for data or something to that effect, and hand out that number so you know if a call comes in on that number, don't answer it. And secondly, use a second free email address if you need to give out email addresses and things to that effect, so that when you have to place information, and it is not an important place to place information, you can place secondary information as such, and you know that that is ignored information, and you do not share anything, how should I say, sensitive or highly privy on that. But yeah, as far as I'm concerned, Telegram's my new email. Signal I would like to use. I think it needs to get known by a lot of people, but Telegram started in the same way. I don't think Facebook, WhatsApp deserves to have the dominance it has, and that's why it can do what it can do, because I don't like being reliant on something. At the moment, people are being forced to accept it because they are reliant on WhatsApp. It's actually terrible, but people are so reliant on it that they're having to click agree on those terms. Because I can tell you what to do because I do for you.
This is true, but Andre, I do think that is sage and sound advice there, my friend. I actually haven't thought about it like that, and I'm going to get myself a secondary email address too.
I have one.
That's good advice.
I have a Yahoo address that anything, and I read it. I do go through it because some of the stuff is interesting. Somebody, but it's a shit list that gets sent to me there. And then I read it, but I don't mind hitting select all, delete, because my main email address only gets the stuff I want on it. And that will have maybe a payment thing in it. Sadly, it's a Gmail account. But the other one is a Yahoo account. It's no secret. And I have a smart cell number, which is my number when I got to Cambodia is the first thing I got, and that's the number I had. But I have a cell card number as well, so I can use data on any side. So where data is better on cell card, I use my cell card. I usually keep the cell card's data active, and the smart for calls. But where smart is better, I just switch the data then, and it costs me $1 a week for each one, and I have more data than what I can actually use with them. And so you know what, somebody says, well, sign in. Yeah, I mean, Zoom accounts, Google accounts, things like that. Cell phone number. I punch in the cell card number, and I'll receive the SMSs and things like that from them if I need to get a code to put in there or whatever, etc., etc. But I really don't care about the messages I get from there. I really don't care about the calls I get from there. I'll never answer a cell card call because, and it tells me, you know what, and also what it does is you cell card to cell card's free. So if somebody's got a cell card, I'll dial on that. It's cheaper. And it's just a few things you can do to not eliminate, but maybe just protect yourself a bit. I mean, as you said as well, you've got to be responsible with what you're doing. We're responsible in a world where we're exposed any which way you want to. When last did you read an agreement that was sent to you anyway? Somebody's just read something that information will be given to Facebook, and everyone thought, oh, my messages are going to be open. I think that's the biggest thing that people went into. And as I said, I'm just not happy with Facebook. Even when I pay on my bank account, when I do online payments, I don't use my card number. My bank gives me the option to create a virtual card. So I create a virtual card with like a $20 limit or something to that effect. And I put it up if I want to make a bigger transaction, and put it back down and allow it one transaction for the day. And you know what? So if you're going to take me for a ride, you'll take me for a ride for maybe a one times $20 transaction or something like that. And if you do, I can cancel that card very quickly and just create a new one. So it doesn't really matter to me. I do not use my actual Visa card's number for any online transactions.
Smart thing to do, man.
So yeah, you know what? I don't think it's to be afraid. It's smart. Sorry?
It's basically, it boils down to just be responsible with the information you share. Be responsible with how you act online, you know, and these things aren't going to have the biggest effect on you.
That's it. I think we just need to be, you know what, WhatsApp is what it is. It's not going to die. You know what, Facebook's not going to die. I mean, there was that Parler that tried to come up. They've closed down as well, etc., etc. Facebook is big. Microsoft is big. It is what it is. You know what? And how many? Unless you've got Apple, which is also big, but otherwise, I think it's about 80% of the computers in the world use Windows. And whether we like it or not, that's it. WhatsApp will be whether we like it or not, because it belongs to Facebook, and it'll be there whether we like it or not, because we have become reliant on it. It's just how we handle it from here, that's all. So shift over. I'm not saying don't. I quite happily prefer my personal chats on Signal and my email and internet on Telegram. I do. But I'm not prone to having the WhatsApp. You know, take my cell card number and do what you want to. I'm not going to answer anything to that effect, etc., etc. But yeah, it's just be careful. Yeah, I'd say that too. I think we call it on that because we over 8 o'clock as well, and we said like, well, let's do this one for half an hour, but we had such a good one. And I am blasted. I really am. And I think you've got a missus who's giving you the BDI as well. So I think all we're waiting for is your bank account statement to close off the show.
My bank account statements. I'm not going to embarrass myself like that online, my friend.
No, your statement that you usually make, not the bank account statement, dude. Please.
Oh, yeah, well, drawing it back
to you make about bank accounts. That is the most important thing that we close off the show with.
Yeah, drawing it back to South African politics. If you were to bank with the political party you vote for, would your money be safe? And would you bank with them? Would you bank with the ANC, with the EFF, or with the DA for that matter? choice is in your hands again.
You got 3 instant messaging as well. Who are you going to bank with? WhatsApp, Telegram, or Signal?
Yeah, who are you going to bank with there? Or are you going to diversify your portfolio? Yeah.
Oh, well. Guys, thank you very much for watching. Ninius, it has been an utmost pleasure again. I really love our chats. I'm looking forward to actually getting to see you. You said about the 4th you'll be around here?
Not exactly too sure on the dates yet, but I am aiming for around that time in March, more or less. Yeah. See you for Brian, my friend.
I'm looking to have a live chat with you a little bit. These are
Yeah.
very nice, but there's nothing like sitting across the cold beer with somebody. And
Of course, buddy. There you go. Andre, as always, thank you. It's been a lot of fun, man.
And then, without ado, please don't forget to like and subscribe, guys. And don't forget to share this video. Thank you very much. Be good. If you can't be good, at least be kind.